Hi, my name is Natalia Ortiz, and today I'm going to talk about something that might sound complicated at first, but isn't. It's called pedagogy. Pedagogy just means how we and why we teach the way that we do. It's not just about textbooks, it's about who gets included and who gets left out. I'm using two documentaries. The first one will be Precious Knowledge, and the second one will be the Lemon Grove Incident. As a media advertising major, I'm looking at these films through two different lenses, and it will be the cultural power and technological power. Basically, I'm asking one big question. Who controls what we learn, and how does that shape how we see ourselves? Because honestly, school and media are not that different. Both tell stories, and whoever controls the story controls perception. So, first, let's talk about culture. Culture is identity, is history, and also is pride. If you go to a school and never learn about people who look like you or even share your background, you might start to feel invisible. In advertising, representation matters because if brands only show like one type of person as successful, that shapes how we define success. Education works the same exact way. In Precious Knowledge, around 18 to 20 minutes into the film, students talk about how the Mexican American Studies class changed them. One student explains that before taking the class, they didn't feel connected, like going to school after learning about their history, lyrics, and struggles. They feel connected to that stories. And that moment is really powerful because when the students see themselves reflected in what they're learning, they don't just memorize information. They also feel seen and valued and capable of doing most of the things. And that's how like cultural power impact in a positive way. But then around in the movie Precious Knowledge, around 58 minutes into it, lawmakers define banning completely the program. They argue that the class promotes divisions into students. Even though students were being successful, the graduation rates improved, the state just completely removed the program. That is where technological power comes in. And I don't just mean technological like phones or computers, it means like laws, systems, school boards, and then also curriculums, rules. Those systems decide what knowledge is allowed. In media advertising, algorithms decide what content people want to see. In education, legislation decide what students could learn. So even when something empowers students, if you challenge power, it can be taken away. So now let's go back in time. In the Lemon Grove incident, around 12 to 18 minutes into the film, a school official explains why Mexican American children were placed in separate school around the year 1930s. They said students need special instructions, but let's really think about it. What is about education, or was it about segregation? The school used educational language to justify that separation between students, and that's, like I said before, that's cultural power again. Framing something unfair and if it is helpful. In advertising, framing changed everything. The way you present a message shapes how people interpret it. The school system framed segregation as support, but it completely limited the opportunities that all those students had. And all the parents like fought back, they went to court and they actually won that fight. And that shows something really important because systems have power, but also communities have a lot of power too. So why does all of this matter? Because what you learn shapes how you think, and how you think shapes how you act, and how you act shapes your future. If all the students are taught their culture matters, they grow up more confident. If students are taught, even indirectly, that their history is unimportant, that affects their self-worth too. Because education is not neutral. It either empowers or it can also exclude. Also, as a media advertising major, I see a strong parallels. Advertising controls narratives, education influences identity. Both decided who is visible, and when certain voices are erased, whether in commercials or classrooms, that shapes society. So, in conclusion, Precious Knowledge show us how culturally education empower students, but also how systems can remove that empowerment. And in the Lemon Grove incident, shows how education was used to justify that segregation, but also how people resisted. And through both cultural and technological lens, we see that education is about power. And just like in media advertising, whoever controls the message, they can control perception. Thank you so much.